been a lot going on this week, actually, with Lindalee and myself. It's just actually the tragedy that actually affected Florida, South Carolina, Georgia, definitely Western North Carolina,
Tennessee, don't forget.
Tennessee. Don't forget. So a lot of that's been going on, and it actually took me back to something that Lindalee and I had been thinking about recently. Is that we were talking about maybe putting together a new series actually entitled Equilibrium Within Resilient Resilience for Life's Mental and Emotional Roller Coaster. So what an appropriate title for everything that's happened this past week. When things happen in our world constantly in and out. You got Israel, you got Ukraine, other things in Asia that's happening. But then when things happen actually close to home, it seems to take a different impetus that it's real. There's just something more profound about it when it happens close to you. Um, and with that, there comes a lot of anxiety, there comes a lot of stress. And we just want to talk about how do you handle some of that? Linda Lee, how do you handle some of that stress and anxiety that you feel this past week and the sadness, the pure sadness?
Right. And there has been a lot of grief as I watch things unfold and you hear the world news events. And it's heartbreaking and it's overwhelming, and I could drown in it if I let myself. And um, and I allowed myself to feel it. I allowed tears to flow. I allowed my heart to break a little bit because you have to let it move through you. You have to feel it. You have to experience it in order to heal
Mm.
it. And so, yeah, I allowed that. And, but I didn't wallow in it. And grief is going to be different for everybody. The emotions are going to, everybody's journey is a little bit different. So I can't say, like, okay, let yourself feel it for a day and then, buck up, because that's just, it's going to be different for everybody. But for me, I allowed, hours of it and then just tried to go back into my heart and expand and connect to the divine cosmos. And find solace in that love and that connection, and then also recognizing that I know that thoughts and emotions create reality, and so the thing that I can do is to go into that space and right myself and find myself in a balanced state of love so that I can create change in that regard, because I felt very powerless um, as to what can I do, right? That is a powerful thing that I can do, is to get into that space of connection and heart, and see the world as healed, see people as finding strength and solace and peace, the world leaders, everybody, the people that are deeply affected, the people that have lost people and loved ones and animals, whatever it is, their homes, anything that was of value to them. And I just go into there and send that energy out of comfort, like my hugs, my love goes to them and comforts them as a mother or child. So that's one thing I did. I also, I did a monetary donation to the best cause that I thought would further the dollar value that I could assist with at this time. And I have reserved part of my budget to know that, in the next week, as things start to die down, that there is going to be still a great, great need. And I can then see what that need is for those smaller individual communities that are going to need a great deal of help, and do it that way. And also then at that point, I will lend my time physically. So knowing that, the helpless feeling of like, I'm not doing anything right now, recognizing what I am doing and what I'm capable of doing and where I think it's best because, we don't need a whole bunch of people in the mix sometimes. We just need to let the people that know what they're doing, and and the volunteers that are in that area and maybe even from outside that area, of course, but not inundate an already fragile area with more people and deplete resources that are very limited. So giving myself that grace, knowing that I might be doing more good by staying away and just doing the money and doing the prayer and doing the energy aspect of things. That's how I've dealt with it. How about you, Ron?
Ooh, that's tough to follow up. No, in all honesty, I think it's the tragedy when tragedies like this happen, and they happen close to home, they have a more profound effect. So the biggest purpose of this is how we each individual handle those situations. Um, there's no question that the catastrophic magnitude of what happened there is brought a level of sadness to me that's quite unusual. Found myself choking up at times. But at the same time, I actually had the opportunity to speak with some individuals that have had loved ones in the area. And the advice that I've shared with them simply, or the guidance was simply just to stay positive. Um, what's happened has happened. What is most important is what we can do going forward. We can actually operate in the past when situations like this happen, or we can operate in a proactive manner in which Lindalee mentioned, monetary donations to some of the reputable charities that actually they're out to help. They're helping. Um, they're big ones, they're small ones, any of them. And also the opportunity to find solace within yourself, reconcile what you need to reconcile. For me, it's actually been some writing. A lot of people have referred or relied on their faith, meditation, what have you, to go forward. The most important thing is acknowledging what you're feeling, letting it move through you, but also being proactive on the back end. What can I do? There's nothing more than I wanted to do to grab my chainsaw and go to Western North Carolina and see if I can help. It just wasn't the appropriate time to do it. Now, it doesn't mean that I won't do it here in the future, because this is actually a area that's going to be years and years of recovery. So that's the most important thing is knowing that I am going to participate in the recovery, uh, and how I deal with the sadness, the emotion of loss, the anxiety, simply knowing that I'm there for people, and it does actually have to do with my own mental state and evolution of my soul. The love that can put in the area, to make sure that the right people show up at the right time. And I think we've seen stories of that already. Um, Incredibly people stepping up to help one another. I want to be a part of that energy of recovery and not the energy of the loss. Yes, we will feel the loss, but let's be more proactive and offer that energy of rebuilding. I think that's the most important thing. So just a couple moments we just wanted to get with you and share with you how we're individually handling this.
Yeah, and I just want to intercede and say, like, we don't know what it's like to have lost a house, or to lost a loved one in an event like this. And so we're not trying to minimize that loss one bit. Um, and you can see I'm getting emotional because as I think about that, just total devastation, I can't imagine if what it would be like to go through that. So I don't want to minimize that for you if that was your experience. I just want to say, as an onlooker, as an outsider, this is how we're dealing with it, and there's more of us than thankfully. the ones that have been deeply touched by the catastrophic flooding of Helene, but also by the other worldwide events that are occurring in this moment too. So not minimizing those at all either, because oh my gosh, you just pile these on top of one another and it's just it can be
Can be
overwhelming.
overwhelming.
And so, I do encourage, right? If sometimes people definitely need counseling about this, speak to a faith minister, speak to a therapist, and do get the help you need if you need it, because um, there's strength in that. And of course, there's healing on the other side of it. So I just wanted to add that to
And to follow
everyone
up on
saying,
that, I mean, having another's perspective, understand how they see it can also broaden your perspective. That's why I'm so gifted to and blessed to be sitting beside this person right here because we do talk about these things. We do share these things. We don't always see things the same, and that's wonderful because we are uniquely individual. But then there's also us as a couple that's mostly important. So I hope you guys, if you need the moment or need someone, are able to find someone to reach out to actually process this information. That's
right,
the most important thing.
right. And of course, we're here. So if you feel that we would be good people to talk to about things, or to bounce anything off of, or to just share your heart, and how you're feeling, we're here to hear you and to hold you. So, yeah.
Namaste and have a wonderful day.